In this video, we continue with the refactoring of the cashbook transactions model. So where we stopped was the design of the cashbook transaction view model. And like I said, if you this single model now is going to take over the responsibility of this 1, 2, 3 implementations, which involves a total of 7 physical files, 3 here, 3 here, and 1 here. So you can see that everything, at least under the business object side, because this is where you define your business objects, whether they are non-persistent or they are persistent, they must be located inside this folder. So on the business object side of things, this implementation we want to do is going to reduce 7 files into just 1. So that is one of the advantages of this current design. So now that we have finished the design, once we build it, I've always said that the framework automatically does something. So if you go to the application model designer, you will see that it will have created 3 files. One will be called transaction view model underscore list view. I'm talking of views now. Of course, the object itself will be here under the business object model, view model. This is here. So you can see it here, transaction view model. So now it will have created 3 views automatically. As you can see, cashbook transaction, detail view, list view, and lookup view. So the next thing is for us to create, I want us to put it, let's put it under the same header of cashbooks, but this time around we'll just call it cashbook transaction and leave this setup out so that we can differentiate it. So I'll come to navigation items, then I go to cashbooks, I go to items, and I come here and just add a navigation that I will call cashbooks transaction. So we will leave the setup out of it. Just call it cashbook transaction. So we differentiate. Now we pick the view as cashbook transaction list view because it is the list we want to visit first as we want to get here. So I can quickly do some customization on there's this caption as effectively taking care of this, so I can just leave it at cashbook transactions and build it. So I wanted to change the cashbook transaction view model list view. So I want to change, we call this one cashbook transactions unsubmitted. Let's use pending also, because they are actually pending cashbook transactions. So if you still have that, but maybe in order to differentiate, you can just say pending transactions since you are already in the cash book area. So function F6. Now we'll go back to the UI, fresh sheets. You should see that we now have cashbook transaction, and once we click it, okay, sorry, I think I need to, sorry, I picked the wrong one because that one was not supposed to come with data. This is the right one. Okay, so this is where it's supposed to come out from. And like I said, the framework does some automatic things for you. And for example, can go to the new interface. Okay, we have not yet connected um, the controllers, and that's why this is this. But for now, at least we now have the list view that's supposed to list the transactions. So we'll now have to control this screen now because by the time we're through, it should bring this same record to this screen. So let's create a controller. This is a list view screen. So our naming convention is to go to the controllers folder, go to the cash book, and now name it here. We're going to use a normal class. Let's use a normal class for a list view controller. So this is cash book transaction model list view controller. So I am going to copy some things from here. Let me do this. Copy all this, bring it here. Now I'm going to clean up because what I just want is the implementation so I can take care of shorting the instead of typing everything. So the things to watch out for here is that cashbook transaction view model is that because we want to manipulate the list view, we are going to inherit from object view controller of type list view and of type the model we want to manipulate. So right now, confidently, I am going to, yes, because I copied it from the version of on the other design. So we're essentially going to need all these, and I will explain them. These are all items that the presenter needs to do his work. So the only thing, okay, so I will still clean up. Let me clean up everything I don't need before I explain what I am doing. If you had followed from the other videos, you will have seen some naming convention. Now, this is where we are not going to need this one again. This one will be implemented. Even this one, we just hold it in view, deactivate. Then this one, yes. So it's for creating, selecting a new one. We're still going to come and visit all these parts, but they are all relevant in the scheme of things. So this one does not exist yet. So all the redness have gone on this side now. So let me explain what is going on. Now, we are going to implement the presenter. So this one is going to disappear from here. I'm just leaving it. These are things that the presenter, of course, you know this is the presenter. The presenter needs all these things injected into it so that it can work. So just have it at the back of your mind that These three things, these two are the things that will be injected into the presenter along with the view that we are going to implement on the controller. So the idea is that we are implementing this view now on the controller instead of defining it as just a class. So at the end of the day, what we are doing is preparing the presenter with defining all the requirements of the presenter. As the whole of these four items are all requirements of the presenter. But this one, we are going to change it now. Now, when we get to this page, and we click here, that aspect of clicking, what code that there's a code that runs, and the ability to intercept this click, this is the facilitator. This is the controller. Everything in Devexpress is about controlling. So this is the facilitator of that one. Delete and submit cashbook transaction buttons. Delete, submit. We want to put it on the pending list. So when you want to just submit or delete, you check it and delete. So that's why we are leaving delete and submit here. Though dictated by the former implementation in the desktop, but it's still okay for it to be here. Otherwise, some people will have said it's better for it to be on display so that this is when you are working on the cash book, you update it, you delete it, everything, you do it from here. But let's still keep everything a little bit closer to. So, this is the definition of those two buttons we are seeing. Now, new is because we are using non-persistent objects, we want to intercept a lot of default behavior. So when you click this button, you can see when I clicked this, it brought an error because I had not written the implementation of the default behavior will not be able to open a new interface if I don't do something which I don't want to do. Yet it's saying can't find property cashbook transaction head lists. Can't find property. Let me see. Cashbook transaction subhead list, which is supposed to be the okay subhead list, and where's the implementation of the just the same thing subhead list. Okay, but in any case, I wasn't going to even okay. I think I know the problem. list. Okay, I think that is the reason why it's complaining. I've not yet changed this. I'm still explaining this. So let me. Okay, so the names. That is why you will have to be careful with copy and paste. Now, the implementation of this deletes cashbook and so, because Devexpress uses something like a global namespace. The application object is the root of everything, and you will start drilling down. So everything is supposed to have a unique name. So initializing delete button, target view, the ID. So instead of, let me say this one is delete cashbook, let me make it complete transaction. Thinking that is where it is clashing. Submit cashbook transaction, right? Then the image name will not matter now. We'll change it, but we can go ahead and change these ones too, because this is pointing to another view. We don't want it to be pointing to another view. We want it to be pointing here. So okay, so let me see. And find transaction subhead list, because it is running. Let me see the code in the activate event. Process new button. Okay, let me run it in debug mode. That's where we will see. I want to see why that error is, where it's coming from. Before I go on with the explanation, so I come here, I click on new. Okay, it's an error coming from the internals of the framework. So it's not my code per se. Seeing the transaction view model detail view, we can't find property cashbook transaction subhead list. And I know that that property was in the former. Oh, okay. That property was in the former implementation because I changed the tautology of this thing, I renamed them. So something is pointing to an old implementation. Copy and paste must have done one magic somewhere. So I need to try and fish out where the problem might be coming from this view, which I need the detailed view. So if it is talking about the detailed view, because that is actually the one I want to open. Transaction software. Cash property, cashbook transaction software list, which was the former name of this property. If I check where I took them from, to the model file, cashbook transaction subhead list, subhead list. So it is the name of this property initially. So why is this view asking for it? Let me look at the view. So what I feel is going on is that the controllers, there's a scoping problem here between this new and that new. It's like the controller of one of these guys is activating itself. So let's check which controller is it. It's possible this is the new one. Suspecting this one. The new cashbook transaction setup view. Yeah, I'm suspecting that it was cooked well. Okay, wait. When we click that list, the new button, and the buttons did not even appear. So there's an issue with the. Okay, so while opening this one now, this is where the new operation is. Okay, since it's not from our code, let's continue. Let's do it what we actually wanted to do, which is what. So let me stop it since I debugged it. I need to restart it. Oh, see it here. Is the problem. So that it was targeting the wrong view model. That was why it was complaining for not seeing a property that is existing on another model. And this is where I need to stress that scoping is very, very important in this framework. The reason why I say so is that it's very easy for you to write a controller and you don't scope it well, and you are running another screen, but the code of a particular controller that is in scope well is being captured by that screen. So when you are telling the framework this view that uses this object has this ID, you need to be very careful. You see, it's still a scoping issue. I'm so sure that somewhere I have not pointed to the right. See, they're all over the place. Copy and paste issues. Let me just change all of them. But this code will not wrong, but the one that's wrong. CashbookTransaction view model. Those are the other codes that are running. you to hide detailed view. So it's like there's a reference somewhere. Okay, okay, see the error. This is where the error is coming from. I knew there was a reference somewhere to something called function F6. Okay, so the general idea before that glitch was that I was trying to point out um, some of the intercept, some of the ways, the places where we intercepted the default behaviors of the framework. And I was saying that one of it is when you click this new, and one of it is also when you click on a record. What do you want it to happen? So we had to intercept that because when you are using a non-persistent object, um, a lot of things you need to do on your own. And in this case, we didn't have any choice because the presenter is the gateway to our database to store, to save, for logic and all that. That is why we will continue to um, explore the non-persistent object until we reach a place where we can now hit the database directly. So now I was explaining that this is the controller that allows us to intercept the click of an existing record. This is the actions that put the buttons on the screen. These are these two buttons, delete and submit. The ability to intercept this new. This is the provider. This allows us to place these two buttons on the screen. You will see it in the initialization. So we're initializing the container for the buttons. Then these are the codes that does the initializations of the buttons and the scoping of the buttons. Then this is where we are telling this particular controller, look, this is the view that you should go and affect. It should be made of this model and it should have this ID and it should be of type list view. Then here we are implementing the things that the presenter needs to work with. So before I go down, I would like to implement the view. The presenter needs, this presenter needs two things passed to it, the view and the repo. The repo is taken care of by this implementation. But the view, in the bad design, we are manipulating the view outside in the presenter. Well, you will see what we are doing in this design now. We are going to pick, pick into the definition. We just need that interface. Instead of in the past uh, videos, you will have seen me talking about this folder here, presenter views, bad design folder. That's what I will call it now. So we don't need this folder again because all the views implementation, we're going to be implementing it on the presenter itself. So like this one, I'll come here and implement it. So the implementation of the presenter stops out this. This is not a lecture on presenter pattern. It's just for you to know that the view requires the, the presenter requires the view. Now we have put the view as part of the definition of the controller. So here now, we can confidently, first of all, remove this one because the view is now part of the controller. Then we can now pass what into this space, the controller itself. So anytime there's an error message, if you watch all the other videos, you will see I'm always talking about true new exception, and we are passing the value into it. So we're propagating any error thrown by the presenter will be propagated back to the web interface. So this is where this is the interface that we allow the presenter to give us the list of unsubmitted cash books. So I'm going to come here. We're going to write code now, and the initial design, let me go and borrow the code. The code was badly designed into it was badly designed, I think, into this. Look for the code. I think the code is okay. It was in the controller here in this manner. Let me see. It was in the control. Oh, okay. So it's the one that is in the reload list stub. So this was the code in the former implementation. So right now, I am going to do for each France item in value. So this function is called by the presenter to give you this value. And what is this value? It is the list of things you need to display that are unsubmitted. So the next thing is for us to take this code here and put it here. Or somebody will say a good design. We are going to reuse this reload list, right? And just pass into this place a list of, let's call it transactions. Then we will change this one to transactions, and we'll change this one to this. So um, in this view, there are things that we have to compromise because of the design in the initial thing. We are not concerned about the admin in this view, but yes, we want to show the transaction amount. One came as string, the other one came as so. We're going to dance to the tune of our new model. Our new model needs is what we're going to manipulate to give. Now, this one is a cash book description business object. And so what I would do is I will say it's equals to new cash book, which is a structure that just has essentially has just code, which I don't think came from the presenter. What came from the presenter is a string, just the description of the cash book. So we just put it in both the code and the description. Sorry, and the description as cash book. Because this code field too is a string here. Then what we called initially called transaction head is now called, cash book transaction head is now called transaction head plainly. And just like this one too, it is also a structure of value description there. But this time around, we're going to see cash book transaction head. And if we had designed the presenter with this framework in mind, of course, we would have returned back a structure rather than just a string for the description. But this one was just designed for, and moreover, in this view, this particular view, we don't really need that structure because we are just displaying the transactions. We don't need the structure to work on it. So this is transaction subhead, transaction subhead description. So the narration, then the very importantly, the ID, then the ref date is here. This one is a string. Can we take it back to date, time, dot pass. So let's see. Then transaction type is also structure. Okay. So now we can just come here. We can come here and place this code here while passing it the value. So it's cleaner that way. Right. Then the selected cash book transaction ID. For now, let's just assume, let's declare a mirror variable before we know what that one is meant for. So just say private, or let me just declare it as a property with an underscore. So I come here. The presenter wants it, I give it to it from here. And if the presenter wants to set it, you can set it through here. So then this is a standard. This is the presenter asking, who are you? Security system dot current username. So we are finished implementing the presenter. All we need to do now is when the view is activating, we want to call presenter dot init. Then you have to tell the presenter to do something. It is after you've told the presenter will now call you back and tell you if you take the list of pending cashbook transactions. So we have reloaded the list. The next thing is, let's see it. Okay, I need to delete all the areas that involved the old implementation. By the time we are through, you will notice that we will have less code and the codes will be defined in they will have it makes more sense in where they will be located. Okay, I think um, I probably had started this in debug mode before, so I need to start it again in the browser. Okay, okay, so this is the former one. Something wrong with this one. It's taking too much time. I can see that it's still pointing to the mirror is in debug mode. Okay, can see person is pointing to the wrong. What's wrong with it? I'm sure there's still something that has not been taken care of. Copy and paste. Suspecting. Try this one. System. Oh shit. What thing is this? Sorry. I think that's the problem. That should be it. Calling a neat form inside a neat form. It is that's just great. That was the problem. You're supposed to just initialize once, which is when the the presenter is being activated. But after calling it here, I forgot to remove the former implementation, which was now calling it in a loop. And that was why we were having the Stack Overflow error. I started it to start the F6 build. So, so that's it. Okay, I forgot to put the classification in this. So classification is coming as empty. But yeah, the classification was not even part of what was showing here. Right, so let me see. So let me see whether the transaction item came with it from the presenter. It didn't come with it. So what we can do is to go to the view model. So instead of it coming back with empty data, we'll go to the view model and remove the classification column because the presenter did not supply it as part of what it brings from the for the view. F6. All right. So in the next video, we're going to continue. Now we've been able to do this screen and within cleaner code base because right now you can see the controller that is controlling that screen is looking a little bit cleaner. Every code knows we know where it should be, and every action we're going to use it as a function. So we will not be implementing code inside any of the presenter itself. We'll just be calling functions if the code is extensive. Otherwise, just return the property if it is an internal one. So see you in the next video where we will continue with the implementation until we finish this interface.